Hi and welcome to our video review session this week with No Bones About It, Teen Training. I'm going to be working with Lucy and Rosie. We're going to be working on this is so rude. We're going to be working on three concepts called, I don't even know what to say about that. So we're going to be working on three concepts today that are all related to learning to settle and not move, which we call stay. And I don't use that phrase off the bat the same way that I don't use the phrase come until I'm really comfortable about the results I'm going to get. So we're going to start working on the concepts of distance, duration, and distraction, because those are the things that we really need to overcome when we're really working on any cues that we want to solidify, whether it's a stay, whether it is out and about, paying attention, distance, distraction, and duration. Those are the things that we're really looking to build upon. So, okay, so we're going to start with duration because it's the easiest. And believe it or not, distraction is the second. And then the most difficult for almost every dog is distance. And what that means is, how close am I to the dog when I'm asking them to perform a particular task? So the thing to know about this is that combining all three of those things at one time is basically like trying to teach a puppy three things at once. So even though you look at a word like stay, which means don't move, we cannot start adding duration, distraction, distance. We can't add all of those things at one time. We build each of those skills individually, and then we start to make combinations. So you'll see what that looks like in a minute. Okay, go to your bed. So when we are working on duration, which is simply just length of time that I'm expecting a dog to perform a particular activity, I'm going to keep the distraction level low. I am going to keep the distance very close, and I'm just working on getting the puppy to understand, if you don't leave this location for X amount of time, and again, we're not going to start with huge long periods of time, you're going to continue to get rewarded. And then the key here is that I release the puppy, okay, before they decide to get up. If she decided to get up and just walk away, I would need to get her back here. The key to that is I need to try to do it without a treat. And I need to withhold a treat for a little bit so that they don't associate leaving with then being lured back and given a treat. So, again, key to duration is your mate starting off with small duration, 30 seconds, maybe a minute. If I were working on this in the house, I would get a bowl of kibble and I would just sit there. I could do it while I was watching TV, while I was, maybe answering some emails, as long as I could, be somewhat focused on the puppy, and I would be doing pretty continuous reward system to build that length of time. Okay, down. Okay, I can use the word stay because we have worked on this a little bit. Stay. You can use a hand signal. It looks a little bit like a stop sign. Good girl. And then I'm going to just be placing those treats right down on her mat pretty continuously. We have worked on this, so I'm adding a little bit of movement, meaning I'm not gaining a lot of distance, but I am moving around, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Okay, good. Okay. And that's kind of what I want. I want the dog to not want to leave the spot. I want them to think, all the good things happen here. When I hear my release word, I kind of just want to restart the game. So this is a good sign. So now let's talk about distance. Okay, I said that was the hardest, but we're going to work a little bit on distance, which again, I'm going to start with what I would call movement, meaning every time I move, it makes a puppy want to move. So if let's say, okay, come on, down. Let's say I just started, and I'm going to expect that she's going to break, meaning she's going to get up. I'm just going to walk around in a circle. You can see she's going to want to get up and follow my movement. So I need to work on getting her first to understand, don't Just because I'm moving doesn't mean you get to move. So again, I start off, I have a very high rate of reward.
Your bed's falling off. Okay.
Good girl. Down. Yes. So high rate of reward as I add movement. And you can see I'm treating her as I'm moving, okay? So that she isn't inclined to make a mistake. I'm gonna get a little bit behind her because that's always weird.
Oh, I know leaves are blowing.
That's a huge distraction.
Okay.
And
Very good. Let's go. Touch.
yes, touch. Yes, good girl. So I'm gonna keep the duration short because again, now I'm working on movement or distance. So I'm not gonna add a lot of duration and I am not adding distraction, although distraction is inherent somehow when you're outside here. Leaves blowing, very distracting. Okay, good girl. Okay. Now for some dogs, distraction isn't nearly as hard because I'm going to start with something like a toy. Okay, and I'm simply going to wave the toy, give a cookie. Wave the toy, drop the toy, give a cookie. Good job. Okay. And then again, I'm going to keep the duration incredibly short and I'm not adding any distance. Okay, so we're going to work. We're going to work on different types of distraction. Down, stay. She loves this toy, so she's doing great. Now I'm going to just try to toss it behind me a little bit, and as I do that, I'm going to be rewarding her. Good girl. And then what I'll work up to is tossing and holding off the reward for a little bit.
Okay. Good job. Okay. Good. Ready? Okay.
And then we can play with the toy as kind of a reward for good behavior. Yeah, Shooty, go get. What a good girl. She's such a good girl. Yeah. Very nice. Down. Stay. Oh, good.
Okay. Ready? Let's go get it. Go. Good girl. You're such a good girl. Oh, you're carrying it like a cigar. Come here.
All right, here we go. We are going to be working on, again, the concept of making things more difficult as we progress in our training. Usually involves distance, distraction, and duration. So, or some kind of combination of those. If we're talking about a recall, distraction, and distance would be there, not duration. But for stay in particular, we're working on all three of those. So, it also becomes much easier as the puppy gets a little bit older because they have longer attention spans. This is like, you know, kind of the equivalent of bringing your toddler to like a 5-course restaurant and asking them to not move. Super, super difficult. So we want to look at these things and be building on them, but also with an understanding that we still have a young puppy and their attention span is fairly short. So if I were to go someplace like a cafe or out to dinner, I would really want to make sure that I bring some chews, some things to entertain my dog, a stuffed Kong, you know, bully sticks, their kibble that I can be kind of doling out until they settle down. You, again, set them up for success. The same way if you were bringing a toddler to a restaurant, you'd bring a bag full of toys or, you know, your iPad, I guess, these days. So, so really think about those things so you are not expecting things that your puppy just isn't developmentally ready for, okay? All right, so here we go. You are already down, so I'm going to work a little bit on just getting that puppy to understand good rewards are coming. I'm gonna add some movement. really watching her body language as well, because if I feel like she's getting ready to get up, I want to try to prevent that before she's all ready. Okay, so here we go. I saw her, Rosey. All right, let me tell you what's happening here. I think there's some distraction. My neighbor's in her yard doing some pruning, and I think we can't really see her, but we can hear her. So I think that that's kind of freaking out Miss Rosey. Look what I got. He's okay. He's okay. Come here. So I'm gonna try to get her to do some other stuff. Yes, good girl. Come on, touch. Right here. Okay, so tends to be what happens when she. I don't know if you can see me here. So this is what happens when she tends to get nervous about something, and I have to be really careful when we're on hikes and whatnot, is that when she gets nervous, she wants to run away. So right now she doesn't want to come towards me. She's really concerned about these noises that she's hearing. So what I am going to do is see if I can toss some treats on the ground to distract her. Here we go, look. What's that? Rosey! Rosey! Yes, good girl. Here we go. Hey, come here. Good girl. So, and I'm just gonna sit here for a second. Come here. Come here. Yay, good girl. Touch. Yes. Here, touch. Touch. Hey. What is this? Oh, it's okay. It's not so spooky. It's not so spooky. Hi. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. Ready? Go find it. Ready? Go find it. So I'm just trying to get her in a place where she kind of forgets about the stuff that freaked her out a little bit, because it's not going to do me any good to try to continue training here if I can't get her to relax. Hi. So what I might do is bring Lucy back out, let them play a little bit, and then see if we can restart. If I am unsuccessful. Yes. Good. Good girl. Let's try again. Down. Come here. Oh. Interesting. So, if I were not trying to complete this video tutorial, I would absolutely scrap this right now and come back, or I would move location, I would move inside and I would start practicing inside. Can't really do that right now. So, but it's important to note that it's just like a human. If we are full of anxiety, if things are bothering us, it is not a place where we're in a good thinking mind, where we can relax and really be learning. So again, picking times when you think we can get this dog to focus, picking locations where we think we can focus, are really, really super important. Hi. So I'm gonna let Lucy out and let them play for a little bit, and then we'll try one more time and see if we can come back. Rosey. Rosey, come on. Down. Okay. So I'm hoping that by keeping Lucy here, it's just gonna chill her out a little bit. Keep her a little bit more relaxed. Lucy, down. Come on. So when she struggles, it's usually because something's a little spooky to her. So she starts looking around like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Yes. Down. So we are working clearly on distraction. Down. And we are working on duration. I'm not even going to add any of the movement right now.
Okay. Okay, you did it. You did it, Miss Rosey. You did it. You did it.
So that's just a little. So that's just a little sampling of how we are working on practicing stay, as well as how we are taking things to the next level in other environments. You'll see lots of different clips from our hiking, and they're doing so good on the trail. Again, Rosey is fine meeting 1 or 2 dogs at a time. She's not fine when we have to pass the dog walkers that have like, 8, 10 dogs off leash. I wouldn't be either. It's super spooky. So if I see them, I put her on her leash and I try to keep her off to the side. I try to toss treats for her, but that's really hard because then the other dogs come over. So it's a work in progress. But all in all, we had a great week, and I hope you guys have a beautiful long weekend, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye. I've been trying to bring them to new trails all the time. This is the Alta Trail. It's up above Sausalito. I'll get you a nice view pic in a minute. There's not a ton of places where we can do off-leash training. This is one of them. It's awesome, and it's beautiful up here.
Come on. Go, go, go. Come on.
They have become such well-behaved little canines on the trail. They don't go very far, and they check in with me often. Every time I get a check-in, they get rewarded. It's a great way to just build that skill without having to use your recall word or their name. Just sort of like, it creates a scenario where they are seeking you out often, and we love that.
Rosey. Up, up, up.
Yes. Hey, yo.
Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi. Oh, oh. A sneak attack. Sneak attack.
There's a nice view of Strawberry Point, Angel Island.
Hi, girl. Rosey. Hi. Hi.
You wonder why you can't tire them out. So funny.